Hey guys, and welcome to Sounds Like NYC episode 44. My guest here is an editorial makeup artist who's worked in New York Fashion Week, as well as some music videos. Her clients range from AIRBNB to Wired Magazine, and you can find her on Instagram at Lindsay Kastuk _ NYC. Please welcome Lindsay Kastuk.
Hey.
Thank you for coming on. It's
welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
1 o'clock. Could you pass me the cable so I can charge my laptop?
New York
it's gonna
morning.
break.
Yeah, here you go.
I mean,
it's gonna break.
Yeah.
Not even die. It's gonna
the
break.
battery's gonna die.
It's just going to give up on us.
Yeah.
This is a bad idea.
Got it?
Come on, David.
Okay, cool.
We're
I'm a professional.
We're running on limited time here, David. All of us are gonna die one day. Come on.
So, tell me about your story about coming on, because I think it's really, really interesting.
Yeah,
You started at 30, right?
Yeah, I did. I actually was in a completely different career when for life. For over 10 years, I worked in, luxury to contemporary retail. Most recently, I was managing a store in the city and turned 30. Some life shit happened and basically just started my whole life over. And I really loved makeup and was doing it at the time more as a hobby and some kind of stress relief, and just it was really therapeutic for me. And then unfortunately at the time, lost my job, but fortunately now. So I was able to, it was kind of the push I needed just to transition into this career.
Yeah,
Everything's better in hindsight.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, because kind of give me that little kick in the ass.
Yeah.
This isn't flattery or like anything like that at all, but I thought you were like 27. Like,
awesome.
So surprised. Yeah.
Yes.
Just what makeup skills.
I am actually going to be 33 in June.
That's crazy.
Wow, so you become this successful in like such a short amount of time. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Congrats.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, a lot of not sleeping, a lot of stress.
Hashtag the grind.
Exactly. That New York hustle.
That's so cool. That's really cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I mean, how did you get some of those? Working with Airbnb and like Wired Magazine and Allure Magazine.
Yeah. So Allure was actually my favorite one. It was Conde Nast actually works for, and they found me through Instagram.
That's crazy.
I was kind of posting looks of myself and then some of the shoots that I had worked on, and they emailed me one day. I remember it was like late at night, and I got the email and I was like, this is not real.
Yeah.
And read it the next morning, and I checked the email address and it was like at condenast.com. I was like, oh my God, this is not spam. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we did like a phone interview, and then, before I know it, I was at their studios, which is gorgeous, by the way. It's freaking huge, and it's on like the 26th floor. It's crazy. But,
nice.
and then that was my first time too being on camera. It was terrifying. It was like 3 or 4 camera guys in a giant studio, and I'm standing there by myself. I was like, oh my God.
Well, luckily we only have one.
I know. It's okay.
Yeah, this is
you
really
guys are
low
here with me
maintenance.
though.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like by myself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because that was a pretty interesting video. I mean, I saw it. You had to paint somebody's face, and like the inspiration was a flamingo, right?
Yes,
I want to see that.
Yeah, it was really cool. I love the idea. Also, it's really nice to be able to focus on really creative makeup. I feel like a lot of things on YouTube don't do that necessarily. But it also too, it wasn't a competition. It was just 3 different makeup artists who were amazing to work with. And just their style, and it was kind of them getting to like flex their skills and just have fun, and it was really nice.
Were they nice?
They were actually.
Really?
I still speak to them on Instagram. It was it was very refreshing. I was kind of nervous, but
I just always feel like in that field they're always like, I don't know,
divas.
A lot of people mixing, and it just doesn't work out sometimes.
Yeah,
it's very true. I feel like when you get certain personalities together, sometimes it doesn't work out. But I mean, they were both very professional, very nice. They're a lot farther along in their career, so they were very sweet to me, and offered some advice. But we got along really well, and you can, I think, tell on camera because they sat the 3 of us down at the end, and we all looked at each other's looks, and it was just nothing but positivity, and it was really nice. It was a really great experience.
Is there going to be any follow up on that, or have they told you anything?
No, I don't think so. I would love to actually take the time and redo that look. I think it'd be really fun because we only had an hour, so it was a little rushed, and I was nervous.
But you still did a lot. I mean, I saw like even like right here on the chest, you added some stuff too.
Yeah, I do a lot of just like bold, I guess, I don't want to say minimalist graphics, but so it kind of cuts down a lot of time. For me personally, like blended looks just take forever. It's not, I just love sharp lines and really exact, bold.
Geometry is cool, kids.
I mean, that's kind of all makeup really is, right? Just like shapes and shades and
exactly.
Colors.
It's pretty much like painting on a face, honestly.
So what do you feel is more, I guess, therapeutic, doing makeup on yourself or on other people?
You know, I didn't have anything to compare it to when I was doing it on myself, so I always thought that was more, but also doing it on other people, I think because you get just so in the zone when you're doing it, that's really all you're thinking about. And I think it's with anything tedious, it's a hobby, that's kind of your brain's one focus at that time. So that was really why it was therapeutic for me. It was, you know, everything else that I was stressed out about or upset about was just gone.
I really like this. Like I just like like this is like such a cool minimalist. Say the word for me.
Sound it out. Minimalist.
Minimalist.
Anyways.
Cinnamon,
yes. It's a very cinnamon design. I love it. Yeah, it's
Thank you so much. Yeah.
So like, what's like this whole, or like, what was like this shoot about? Like, what's like the background?
Yeah, that was actually a friend of mine. She's a photographer. We kind of just rented out a studio one day and we're like, let's just get a couple models and do like a portfolio build. And we reached out to some models who were interested in doing creative looks and collaborating with us. And that's actually my friend Sandra who's modeling it. She models for me a lot. She's amazing. Hey Sandra. And she's on my page quite often, but she's wonderful to work with. And we just kind of was like, let's just do a line and see where it goes. Nice. It wasn't really planned, honestly.
This is so crazy. Like look at this.
That's her again.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I think we were talking about it. Like you said you do clean stuff as well, but you wanted to branch out into more like music videos and stuff to show your artistic side.
Yeah, I feel like it's a fun way to work with somebody who who's not a visual artist and kind of make their image, like their visions, come to life. Because I did a music video where I got to paint somebody's face or the artist's face, like. One side was just like black and gray and shaded, and the other side was just all these geometric. It was stained glass was the inspiration.
That's crazy.
It was really fun, and it just looks really cool. I feel like.
I mean, sort of a weird question, but like, do you feel like some genres lend more to doing this sort of like artistic, or do you just like fit whatever you can to the genre?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like you have to talk to the person who has the vision, honestly, and just you kind of sit down and just talk about it. You send some photos back and forth and this is my idea. Or you can do like a face chart. For me, you just basically draw out the design. It's like what I did for Allure, how I kind of drew it out first. But a lot of time they do kind of have an idea of what they want. They just don't know exactly what they want. So that's where we come in and help bring it to life.
Gotcha.
Nice.
So do you prefer... Whoa.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, so like, were you doing like makeup and stuff kind of like in like a semi-professional or kind of like your skill level, like before you started doing this professionally? Like, was it like close to like it being now? Because to get this good, like in 2-3 years is insane. I feel like, I don't know, but
Thank you. Yeah. So no, I mean, I've been playing with makeup. My best friend and I in high school used to just like go to CVS and buy stuff, like new stuff, and just try it out. Yeah. But it was really basic and, you know, just like your classic beauty makeup. I didn't really start playing with, you know, creative things until I want to say 2016. And it was like on myself. And I had kind of started Instagram then. And I mean, if you look back at some of the things, technically it's kind of a mess, but you know, I was just practicing and you learn how products work on yourself. And like, we want something that's jet black and really opaque. Like you have to put a base down, like you learn these things. Cause also makeup looks completely different on camera. When you have all those studio lights on it kind of blows out the color or, you know, so you have to learn these tricks. The major things that I learned when I started doing it professionally was hygiene, of course, you know, what to do and what not to do, mostly how to keep your products clean.
What's like the worst thing you've seen a pro or somebody aspiring to be a pro do with makeup? That's like a big no-no.
So many. Using mascara, like the wand, like you just use it on multiple people, that's a huge no.
Really? How come?
Yes.
Pink eye, right?
I mean, just diseases in general. You basically just want to use like disposable things.
Like Bella's over here just like cringing.
Yeah, and lipsticks, like never, just don't use the,
that makes
lip
more
testers.
sense.
Just don't use the tester lipsticks anywhere.
Wait, Chester? You mean like?
Like it's Sephora. Just don't do it.
Ew, that seems just, ew.
You'd be surprised.
Why-
I've
I feel like they can just chop off the end, though, and then it's just good to go.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
just like
mean,
bite off the end.
Just bite it off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah, there you
It's
go.
like-
Yeah, yeah.
She's like, no.
Sorry, Val.
Just things like that. Like you never want to use the same tool on
Multiple people.
You always want to sanitize it, or again use it in a way. Like a lot of times, I just have a little palette and spatula, like a little, and I
it's just like
scrape it off and
okay,
then
that
just
makes
use
sense.
it. Yeah, it keeps it
Especially
clean.
with the coronavirus spreading around, you know.
There's so many different things that you can. It's just
I'm so scared that I've already caught it, and it's like the 2 week. I mean,
it's
have you guys not?
lurking in on you now. No.
Yeah, have you guys like not had that thought like already? I mean, that's gonna help you.
Don't joke around
I mean,
like
your
that.
nose, your eyes are still exposed. I mean, you already got it.
I woke up one morning because I had the heat on really high and I was so dry, so I was coughing and like my nose was running. And I got on the train and I started like coughing like crazy.
Oh man!
And everyone is staring at me right now. They're all like, "Let's push her off." I
Kill
swear.
her before she kills us.
Emergency brake, throw her out.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It was just dryness.
Yeah. I mean, do you have any like travel plans that have been like thrown out of whack because of the coronavirus? Like,
No, thankfully.
good.
I mean, I was actually going to go to LA this week, but it ended up getting postponed. My friend who I was supposed to go with actually ended up moving there instead this week.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll just come out when you're settled. And
Like, I don't want to help you move.
I don't want to.
I did help her move. I helped her move, but I helped her pack.
Is she from New York City?
She's from like Westchester. Yeah.
Oh,
right
okay,
outside.
cool,
Yeah,
cool,
yeah.
cool.
So
So
it's really
upstate.
close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, upstate.
So, yeah. Way out in the boonies. Way out in the boonies.
Yes, way out in the burbs. And then but it actually kind of ended up working out because it's like, do I want to travel? Do I not? Especially because there was a few cases in LA too. It's like,
Yeah, it's so scary.
And yet, I think there's been a couple people who have tried to see if they had it, but there hasn't been any like documented cases in New York City, which is kind of
Wait,
weird.
wait, really? Are you
Because there's
sure?
so many people coming in and out of the city.
yeah.
You would expect it to be.
There's probably 10 cases that are like in the making. I feel like because
You know what
Well,
it
they
is?
would have found them by now,
That
Maybe.
is true. I don't know.
or maybe they just came.
Or maybe it's just because like I feel like New York's extra dirty, so we're just
Yeah, you're just used to it, like the corona.
Or the tourist industry is just like trying to keep it down.
Well, apparently, you're gonna laugh because I was like mentioning Japan so much in like the last podcast, but like because around this time of year and whatever, or like always, there's like so many tourists in Japan, especially from China and stuff. But I have like friends who are from like the big cities over there, so like Tokyo, Osaka, and stuff, and they're like, it's like oddly, and they're like telling me it's like oddly quiet and like.
the tourism's gone down.
because
Wow.
no one's flying out, and like one of my friends was supposed to come over here, but he canceled his flight, or his flight got canceled because he was supposed to lay over in China, but like
Yeah.
I'm sure people like fashion brands too have like been feeling it.
everything is like going out of whack.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wash your hands, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
But
cough in people's faces.
yeah.
Thanks.
So like, what goals do you have for this year?
I really want to, like I said, work with like more musicians. I feel like,
okay, yeah.
I love working on.
I think we could arrange that.
What happened?
I think we could arrange that.
Who?
Yeah. Let me know.
Wait, with who?
We're gonna do your makeup.
Nice. I never have done. No, I have been getting into like kind of like not like cosmetics, but kind of just like beauty, like kind of like
course you
skin routines lately. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Skincare.
Yeah, exactly. Skincare. Yeah,
Yes.
everybody should get into skincare.
Very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah,
It's that self-care moment.
exactly.
It's the biggest organ in your body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
skin.
yeah,
You have only one face.
yeah.
That's true.
Unless you have a lot of money for plastic surgery, but
That is true. Yeah, yeah.
So like how I guess like on the pulse you have to be on like technology because with like I guess when the camera started changing I guess you had to sort of factor that into when like how you do the makeup too, or am I just
it's more the lighting, I feel like, actually. But I feel when you're working on a planned set, like with a lot of thought that goes into it, you kind of discuss all these things beforehand. For example, like if you know that someone's using a lot of red lighting, like you're not going to put red makeup. It's just going to disappear or look muddy. So you kind of have to figure these things out beforehand, I feel like, especially on something like a music video shoot, because usually half the time they're filmed in a day or two, depending. So it's very quick. And you just, you want to keep things just clean and sharp. And if it gets messy, like you'd have to touch it up. So you kind of want to discuss these things beforehand with artists and the rest of the team, just to make sure everything just runs very smoothly.
I actually have a really interesting question. I think it's interesting, but like, do you feel like, maybe 10 or so years, kind of like digital kind of like technology will kind of like take over kind of like makeup? Because like when I was like looking at your stuff,
Facetune.
Well, because like it looks like a photography, but it's like it's probably the way the photo was taken, but like you could like argue, or like there's probably somebody out there that can like recreate that on like on a computer. So like, do you think like in the future artists, like makeup artists, will be less hands-on or then become more like kind of like directors or kind of like creative guides or like stuff like that?
I mean, like I said, I know like photographers who have had to add makeup in Photoshop because they didn't have an art, or makeup artist didn't show up or something. So it is done. I mean, and then you see a lot of digital artists who will draw really cool graphic work over images just for like cover art and things like that. I don't think it'll completely, I don't know how far in the future, but I feel like it's such a lot of things that kind of go through phases. Like a lot of people shop online now, but there are still some people who enjoy going into a store and seeing the product, and how some people too still use record players for listening to music. I feel like it's the same. There's always a preference. It's got a different look.
There's always certain things you can't really buy online. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, would it be? I guess how easy would it be to just buy makeup online without trying it out first?
I mean, you can do it. It's harder unless you really know like yourself. But I like going in and actually seeing the products personally because it's a big investment. Makeup's not cheap. So
why is it so expensive?
Great question.
Yeah, why is it so expensive?
It's going on your face, so it's got to be made out of decent ingredients and all those things.
On animals and stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. But I think it's just because it's a huge industry. I mean, it's billions and billions of dollars. Like cosmetics is insane. Yeah.
How long do you think until like cruelty-free makeup becomes like the standard?
I hope
thought
soon.
It was a standard already.
No, it's not. It's really not. Yeah. Fortunately, like I actually only work with cruelty-free brands and things like that. I've had to turn down some major opportunities, unfortunately, because the brands aren't cruelty-free, which hurts. But at the same time, I'm like, I feel like standing your ground and owning your morals is more respectable, in my opinion. But I know that it has to do with selling in mainland China. I think that's one of the laws there is to sell cosmetics. It has to be tested on animals.
Why?
A safety issue, I believe. Okay. I heard and I read somewhere a long time ago that they are looking at changing that because it's a huge, a lot of people are very aware of it now, especially. So I think that's something. I think California has outlawed the sales of makeup that's been tested on animals. I think New York is looking into it. If I'm not mistaken,
I'll
but
check that.
Sounds like something New York would do.
Sounds like something you would know.
Yeah, I feel like we always follow California, right? Well,
at least we have water.
Yeah, it'll be a few years, especially if it comes into effect now, because they have to move through all the product that already has been before it'll kind of catch up. But then you have the opposite. Some brands are actually been bought by bigger brands and under an umbrella now they'll start testing on animals. Like it's 2020 or 2019 when this happened.
There's gonna be better ways to do it.
Seriously, I'll volunteer. Like just if I get a rash,
because at this point we could like recreate human flesh like in a lab, right? Like just have like skin set. That's kind of creepy.
We can clone sheep.
Yeah, we can clone. That doesn't help the actual.
We have like.
Would it be cruelty free if we did on a clone?
Yeah, no. But I mean, like I said,
like
you
skin,
can have people who like volunteer just to like test it. I don't know.
That'd be pretty scary.
It's probably too expensive. That's probably why they don't do it, right?
Probably, but I mean, let's create some jobs. Let's go.
Yeah, let's create some human testers. Some human crash dolls.
But, yeah. And then some brands too are tricky. They'll hire outside brand like reps or outside companies to test the product. So they'll claim that they're cruelty free because as a brand they don't test, but they actually technically
the shady
do.
on the side of the industry.
Yes. Business.
Yeah. Gotta be careful. Gotta like watch out. You know, tonight somebody might be coming for you.
I know.
Yeah.
Gotta look out.
Yeah.
The cosmetic industry is coming for me.
So like, what is one thing you want to see changed about like the cosmetics industry, the makeup industry, or the model industry even? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the fashion industry in general, just how people are treated on set. There's a lot of, a lot of mistreatment for models and for artists like on set, and you can read about it like everywhere and anywhere.
I mean, we have a story you can't really say on air about something that happened like pretty recently. Just we can't say names.
Yeah.
We'll tell you about it later, but like it's really messed up.
Yeah, I mean, there's this Instagram that I follow that anonymously posts and calls out like major brands and major artists for not paying their freelancers. There's been a huge celebrity artist recently that I read about who is like verbally and emotionally like abusive to their makeup assistants.
But why? Like, what do they gain from
ego?
it? It's just like
I don't
ego
know.
thing?
Yeah, I must be. I don't know. Just to belittle somebody like that, does it make them feel better or powerful?
I mean,
it comes out eventually. Just be a nice person. I don't understand.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we're all like humans and we all have problems, but because celebrities, you're supposed to hide them, and then when they come out, it's like so much worse.
Just see a therapist like everyone else. Honestly,
Dave is my therapist, right?
Not by choice. Not by choice. Anything? I guess you want to leave us with?
No, I guess tying back to a misconception about makeup, which I really believe in, is like there's no wrong way to do makeup. For people who are told like their makeup doesn't look good or you're doing it wrong or that's not
an art.
It's an art. Like wear it how you want to wear it. If it makes you feel good, like just do it. I hate those posts on Instagram. It's like, how to do makeup the right way, the wrong way. Just no. Like textbook, yes, like there's ways to do makeup, but just do however makes you feel amazing. That's it.
Awesome.
Nice.
And like I said, you guys can follow her at LINDSAYKASTUK_NYC on Instagram.
I didn't get that.
Lindsay Kastuk _NYC. I suck at names.
Me too.
I suck
honestly.
at remembering them. I suck at pronouncing them. I just call everybody man or dude.
Or dude man.
Exactly.
I like dude man the best.
Excuse me, person over there in the corner.
Excuse me, person. Excuse me, human being over there.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you very
This was
much.
great.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Cool.
Woo.